Hello, for this midterm, I would like to discuss Dragon Ball Z's 40th anniversary. In the unfortunate news from our beloved author, also commonly referred to as mangaka, has created a giant franchise that has been seen across the globe. The author, named Akira Toriyama, has sold over 260 million copies for his original Dragon Ball series. The series would take over 1 month or two to finish one volume. This practice and speed of releasing things within that time slot is common in the Japanese work sphere. The first scope of the topic to start us off with are the different works alluded to and credited to the other mangakas who are authors of credited series that are respected around the world. First off, I would like to introduce Hirohiko Araki. He is well known for the hit series called JoJo Bizarre Adventure, which is still in circulation. Over 120 million copies in circulation worldwide. So with that information, I would like to really showcase some of his work, which is very expressive and has line marks on the character's face and overall his body and anatomy as well. So now that you have seen with what that looks like, you can see the 40th anniversary tribute. He chose the cover of volume 33, of which consists of an antagonist named Professor Cell and the protagonist named Gohan. He has tweaked it to form in his art style, and has given so many different characteristics that just makes the two characters in the frame that extra flair that can be achieved through Toriyama's art style. But man, it's really different when Araki does it. Alright, so for the second paratext that we have here is done by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Tatsuki Fujimoto begins to draw a same cover as the one from Volume 2, which is containing of Bulma, a character named Bulma, and a character named Goku, who's the main protagonist of the series of Toriyama's. And we get to see how beautiful the drawing that Tatsuki Fujimoto, who is also formerly known for making Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch, and also other series he's made, and a lot of one-shots and a lot of, one book all everything. And this man proceeds to make these characters reinterpreted in a different way, where instead of Goku's signature look, he gives Goku more of a cleaner, crispier look to him, with hair flowing a lot more controlled, almost, I'd say, with Bulma being showcased as I guess in a way, a lot of attitude that Toriyama in Volume 2 here doesn't really shows a very laser focused look versus them looking directly at a camera as opposed to sideways, which is honestly a great twist to it, because you don't see that onto the right side of it on the screen. And it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful what we see here. But let's move on to the next one now. All right, for this paratext here, we have Toriyama's last volume, volume 42, where we have the main character, Goku, giving a farewell to the ending of the series and publication of the series Dragon Ball. And we have right to the right side of it, Oda. And Oda is the well-known pronoun mangaka out there who views Toriyama's work as almost like his sensei in a lot of ways, because they've met and had regular talks before and whatnot. And Oda has known to be for the creator of One Piece. And he proceeds to do the last volume as his farewell, because Toriyama died last year, as I mentioned before. And what's really interesting is that Oda, as bubbly and round with his characters, it's almost very similar to a lot of Toriyama's work, where even though Toriyama's a little bit more on the rigid side of things with his line weight and anatomy structure, we kind of get to see that with Oda, where he takes liberty with the fact that his art style is very round and almost as if it's inflated with air. And he injects that almost, if you will, onto Goku, and you could see him kind of look similar to of his own One Piece characters as if he could fit in his own universe in One Piece. Um, and what's really beautiful here is he includes Toriyama's persona very well and alive in replacement for the side character named Fat Boo or Majin Buu right there in the left side of the original artwork. And it's beautiful. A lovely tribute to Toriyama being inserted, as he always loves to be, in his own universe he made. Very beautiful tribute. But on to the next Paratext. So on to this Paratext. In the pursuit of doing all 43 artworks here we see of each cover, redone in their own way, we get Tite Kubo, who is the well-renowned manga who is known for Bleach, an anime and manga that also is well known, and has also pioneered the golden age of anime back in the day in the early 2000s. We see this in a drastic change almost versus Toriyama's artwork of volume 27 of his own. It's a completely different atmosphere almost. He transforms this in a way where onto our left, right, of Tito Kubo, artwork, we see this and he includes this with a lot of emotion, right? A lot of flair, a lot of drama and dramatization of shadow and light source in almost like the center ground where Piccolo is the center foreground center background character and light source. And it's very, very impressive how he decides to choose him to be the odd one out of Goku and the villain, Frieza in the foreground. Very beautiful. Almost completely different energies here we see between Toriyama. Toriyama just manages to follow this, layered composition he loves to play around with all the time where, it's almost this, background, foreground happening here. And it's just what he does. It's normal of him. He even includes the number 27 into Goku's, G suit. And it's beautiful. Anyway, on to the next Paratext. Alright, so for this one here, we have Kyosuke Yusata, who is another well-known mangaka in Japan throughout the 90s, had a serialized show and manga called Sexy Commando Gaiden. I've never heard of it before, but all I know is that it's a very reminiscent, art style of the 90s for sure. Without a long shot here. And we get to see and hear that he has chosen volume 23 in the bottom down right corner of the original, and how we have the when he has seemingly mocking the the character Frieza, and he's a very tiny guy. He's a very tiny antagonist, and Goku here, he has Goku looking at him very funny looking in a way. Still trying to keep him with a very buff neck and very similar art style of his own, obviously, of Kyosuke Yusuta's artwork, and I think it's just hilarious. The compositions is same and very similar. A good use of playing foreground and background at the same time. It's very funny. Not too hard on shading either. But it's just a funny look, to be honest. Very funny interpretation and nice tribute to volume 23 of the start of the, Frieza saga. Or most people call it the Namek saga. But yeah, on to the next Paratext. So for this right here, Hasanari Marita has a very expressive way of detailing Goku and his crew, his son in the background, and he has this very interesting way of framing this cover here, this panel, if you will, And it looks fantastic. He just gives Goku, instead of the signature look he has, he just gives him more of a spikier look, shorter hair, I guess, right? And that's very present in his other works that he has done, which is Roku Denashi Blues. I think it's quite astonishing. I mean, he gives Goku this ripped, more realistic, weighted, down to earth shirt, this G suit that he has, this jumpsuit, if you will. And it looks very expressive. Very expressive. But yeah, on to the next Paratext. Wow. Wow. This one's just very, very sparking differences and contrast here. Same energy, but one's, I feel, is a bit more static. Toriyama's on the right. And it's, volume 11 of when Goku was a kid. And it's very interesting because it's showing it in motion, right? But for Masashi Kishimoto, also formerly known as the mangaka and creator of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, and has sold so much around the world. And as for the 40th anniversary tribute, he decides to do volume 11, and it's beautiful. It's almost not static. It's right in your face, less of an angle, more foreshortening happening here. And it's something very appreciated from an artist's perspective. How he still is trying to keep it at heart of Toriyama's, art style, and he does it and still includes a lot of the similar contrast and differences that Naruto has opposing from the Dragon Ball's art style. It's, how else do I put it? It has a lot of motion and directional input versus on the right here, Toriyama. It also has a sense of direction, but it has, I guess, less shadow that I think that can contribute to as to why that there's, it looks more static. It's very basic shadow blocking versus here on Masashi Kishimoto, there's a lot more, shadow contrast differences on the material finish of this four-wheeler. Let's just call it that, a four-wheeler, automobile. So yeah. And yeah, that's the difference here. Well, on to the next Paratext. Okay. This is, wow, very childlike, but also serious tone that we get into this one here, of volume 8, of Dragon Ball. And it's done by Sui Ishida, who is also formerly known for the creation of Tokyo Ghoul, which actually is one of the, mangas that pops off this mangaka's, jet stream of further creations he will make in the future, and he has. With volume 8 redo over, he almost just completely does a 180 take on it, where he's much more juvenile look to him, I guess, right? Like of course, like a child, in the early ages of Goku's life, in Earth. And it's just so pleasant to see, because you don't see this, type of look to it. Like, look how realistic and close to realism that the ear is, and the shadow and the shading, just very realistic tone, almost in this like watercolor, which is what Sui Ishida is known for, watercolor artwork. Not something you would have seen in a Dragon Ball, universe. And it looks very, very, realistic. It's almost jarring to look at. Very, very serious, composed than Toriyama, where it's more playful, straight from like line work to bold colors, flat. Also just very flat design, but more shadow is involved for Sui Ishida's take on volume 8. But that concludes, this Paratext, module of all these, images and, artists attributing to other artists, referencing to other volumes. That's all I have to show. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I will catch you on the flip side. See ya.
Cheers.